Hola a todos, bienvenidos a Cinemática con Vivir en el Poblado. Hoy tenemos a un invitado muy especial, Félix Maritaud. Él es un actor francés conocido también en el mundo del género queer, pero la entrevista que vamos a hacer hoy es completamente en inglés. Entonces, empecemos. How are you, Felix?
I'm fine.
Yeah?
I'm really enjoying Colombia.
Um, you were promoting this movie called Salvaje.
Yeah.
Being Salvaje in Spanish. What do you think it is? Because it has a very characteristic name for a movie.
Yeah. So at the beginning of the movie, I didn't have this name, but while editing, the director decided to call it Sauvage, but it's not related to the character only. It's related to the energy of the movie. To say that this movie is not something you can control; it's something just you can live with, and it has no
Connection,
yeah,
or everything is connected?
everything is connected. Like the camera is wild, the characters are wild, the actions are wild, but everything was really precise and decided.
Because to tell the people here at Vivir en el Poblado, this is a movie that has a very important protagonist, which is you. You are the main character
Yeah.
of the film, and you're not the only one who is going through this process of being a male prostitute.
No, this is a movie that takes place in the realm of male street hustling that happened a lot outside of the big town, and that reflects quite like what solitude can be in big cities.
Did you, when you were doing this character, what was the process for you to interpret the character? Like sometimes people, or actors especially, go through this process of solitude themselves in
Yeah.
order to make a better performance.
So my character is not like he's a kind of an outcast because he's not acting the same rules as the other prostitutes. It's like he has his own way of living the thing. So the director has made like a big investigation through male prostitution by a charity of helping guys that are prostitutes and homeless person. But my character was really different than those guys. He was like a really lightful character, and my process was just to erase everything I knew about society and prostitution and all the judgments, and just to become this special vibration he has about love and freedom, and he's like always wanting to get some more love and to give some more love, and so that was quite interesting, like to just turn from an identity to a vibration that is really wide and
So how did Camille help you with that, with the process?
we made like some dance workshop just to not stay in psychological aspect of the character and to just embody the character in the body. So the dance workshop where like I was walking, and then the choreographer was saying like frustration, and I had to let my body to act frustration, act love, act deception and stuff without thinking about it, without thinking of the concept, just to make it alive with the body.
And at the moment of interpreting a character, you also have to think of the past that this one had. Did you imagine stories about Leo?
No, because I think if you do like nothing is given in the film. So in the script there was nothing about his past or nothing about why he's here, and it's really not the goal of the movie. The goal of the movie is to invite you to spend some time with him, but not to know why he's here. So I just like
In the moment.
focus on what's his vibration through the scenes, and I don't know about like his past, and I really didn't care about this because I think he's a really complex character, so I didn't want it to make him like fit in something or to judge him like
But for some reason in particular, or just because you feel like his story at that moment was good enough?
I think the story is good enough, and I think like if you decide things for your character without the director is deciding it, you are judging it. Like you are judging the character, and I don't want to play while judging my characters. I think if you don't judge, uh, you can have like a really wider expression of the humanity of the character, and that's what's interesting in being an actor.
This is also considered like the new wave of queer film.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you feel like you fall into that category completely, or?
Oh, I mean, like queer is my culture because of being a gay guy and having like convictions about politics and stuff. But I know Sauvage is not a queer movie because it doesn't show something that is related to what queer is right now, what queer convictions are right now. It's a movie about a guy that shows tenderness with other guys and love with other guys in a really dark and violent place that is male street wrestling. But we didn't want it to be like some kind of community film. It was more like yeah,
Like showing love kind
yeah,
of film.
exactly.
Because everybody feels lonely, everybody feels the need of being loved.
Yeah, exactly.
And but what sort of movies do you want to keep on doing?
The main thing I want to explore in my work is like to change the status of what masculinity is in movies, in what male body is. So I love the character from Sauvage because his strength comes from his vulnerability and his sensitivity. So that's quite strange because the male body is always represented as a strong and powerful thing. That is not real. That is not the exact truth for
Male
everybody.
are also tender humans.
Yeah, male are also human. So
Yeah.
I want to explore this by many ways, and I have I feel lucky because now I have more and more projects to come that are exploring those
The male sexuality also. or
not sexuality,
the male
just
being.
identity. Like what does it mean to be a male right now without being dominating other people, without controlling other people, without using power to exist? What does it mean? And it's really interesting because now I think the world is suffering from toxic masculinity. That is really I don't fit in that category, but I'm a male. So it's so I want to explore and to know better how to learn what it's like to be a man.
What do you think toxic masculinity is to you?
I think toxic masculinity has to be with patriarchy and controlling other by putting them down. Like this whole story about white men trying to control the world, and this is toxic masculinity. This it's to express your power by putting people down, and not to construct things to elevate people up. Like I think like we can construct a world that is different, like in so many parts, so many rules.
I wanted to take a point from your last answer, and it's the fact that in Sauvage we see the male body vividly in all its aspects, from toe to head, pretty much. Was it as raw and as real as we see it as spectators?
The thing is that, like, as we are speaking about male prostitution, we didn't want it to have like a kind of erotization of the body. Like, the body of a prostitute is a object of work, is a work tool. So as a tool, you can't like make a big thing of it. So we wanted to be the most clear and true and raw as possible. So yeah, it's really visible in the movie, and by chance, it's not sexy. It's just like the way it is. Like it's just real. Like they are using body to make pleasure, to give pleasure. It's a working tool.
And how hard was it to do that for you? To get out of the idea that you had a male prostitution, because
it's not that hard. That was quite interesting because the space it creates with other actors, like the clients from the movie, we didn't know each other before. So you come at work, and at one moment you met a person and you're making it in front of him, and you have to play a fake sexuality that is quite interesting. Like it creates something about intimacy and what can a relationship be like that is quite amazing. You can't find this in other parts of the world. Like like male to male relationship are always like institutions, family, friendship, camaraderie, and and that was like so strange and so brilliant at the same time. Like, but we were all really conscious of what we were doing, so it was easy to.
Do you think? I'm just speaking my mind right now, but French people in general are very open about their sexuality and their love life. Sometimes I feel like maybe a Colombian wouldn't be able to do those sort of characters or portray themselves like that.
Well, I can't judge like I don't know, but I think like it doesn't. French culture is right now getting closer and closer and closer to. It's regressive right now. The body use in French culture for art, for example, in the 80s, everybody was half naked. It wasn't a problem, and now you have to cover yourself, you have to hide yourself, you have to not speak about your sexuality or stuff. And everybody has a sexuality, even if it's not. To not have a sexuality is a sexuality too. So I mean, like now I can't say about Colombian people. But I think here in Medellin, you have a body culture that exists.
Oh yeah, I guess everybody has a body culture around the world. But like growing up, knowing a little bit about the French culture, I do realize that they were way more open about.
Yeah, we have a history about liberation of the body and liberation of the sexuality and stuff that is quite from the 70s. And now it's getting hard a little bit like... Yeah.
What was the hardest thing for you to play as doing the character of Leo?
It was a really intense shooting. Like it was 6 weeks non-stop because I'm on every scene. And what was hard, it was to keep the vibration of the character that is so needy. Like the character is really needy. It needs a lot of energy, lots of love. And what was hard, it was to keep it real for 6 weeks, like for 30 days, and without stopping from the early morning to the early night. And
you were in character for practically 6 weeks?
The 2 first weeks, I had enough energy to go back to myself. And after the scene were too strong that I had to decide, okay, just let him alive or choose to keep yourself, and then the character is not alive, so I choose the character for the movie.
There's one particular scene that, for me, it was very hard to watch, and it was with the gay couple, the punks. Yeah, they're kind of young gays. Yes.
Yeah, it was hard, but it was hard because it's a scene that shows the character can go
to limits,
to
break limits.
Yeah,
you know?
Can go if you ask him to do something, he's gonna do it, even if he's suffering. Like that was to show he's like really giving things. But it was hard because the director couldn't be with me for this scene, because if he was focusing on technique, because if he was like with me, we couldn't have been taking the scene. Like it was quite hard, but the two guys were perfect because it's a
very hard scene because it's 3 people in one scene, and it's a very intimate moment that could also be very harsh.
And it's really about humiliation, and it's really intense. But it was quite interesting too. So I was really focused on the character to this day to make it like the shortest day of work ever. But it was.
It was shot in one day?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. I would have imagined
one morning.
It took a little bit longer.
It was in one morning. Like,
that's good.
We didn't have a lot of money to make Salvaje, so everything was really fast and really intense.
Here comes my next question because of it. When you read the script, did you imagine that Salvaje would end up being so well acclaimed by the critic?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. First reading, no doubt. First reading, I knew about Khan, about everything, because the character is so strong.
Oh yes.
That and the movie scene, it needs those kind of characters that are special and that touches something absolute about humanity in general.
So you feel like Leo not only talks to one sort of people, it talks to a lot of other people.
Yeah, I think like everybody has. I think everyone can have like a suffering from love, like a hot pain, like it touches everybody. And Leo shows something that is really deep. Like yes, of course, the conditions he's living in are quite special and non-accessible to people. But I think that he shows what
a lot of us suffer.
Yeah, and everybody has been in this kind of pain of needing something, like needing love everywhere you can find it. Like when you're heartbroken, you have this kind of reaction that are crazy, that your mind is going like crazy and you can't breathe anymore. Like everybody can live that. So I think like that's why he's speaking to a lot of people.
And after the movie, since I know scenes were hard, do you feel like it left a sequel in you? Do you take something with yourself afterwards?
Oh, I keep from Leo something that are really lightful, because he's a really loving person. Yeah. So I learned a lot about how you can love people, how you can give love, how you can receive love. And yeah, the shooting was really violent for my body, so I had to go through a process of cleaning, like energetically.
Afterwards.
Yeah, afterwards, sure. But I think it's normal when you're an actor just to clean your energy after incarnate a character.
And what do you think about the LGBTI community nowadays, and what do you feel like through your movies you can conquer?
You know, I was not like aware of the thing I was doing, because I'm only doing movies, and I don't think that the movies can be like LGBTQ or things, and they are just movies to me. But when I traveled to Istanbul, that is a city where it's been a few years they can't do a gay pride, for example, that is really harsh and they have a lot of censorship. And when I saw the eyes of the guys watching Salvaje, and the gratitude they have to just have a possibility of how to say that, just of identifying themselves. I said to myself, okay, maybe I'm doing a little bit more than movies, and I'm really blessed by it. Like if I can like help young people to empower themselves with their own sexuality and to accept themselves the way they are, I'm perfectly okay with it. Like thank you.
That's really good, because your personification of this character was absolutely fantastic, and I know that I'm not the only one who has told you that, and it's a hard role to play.
Yeah, but it's so exciting. Like it's so dense. It's so, you touch things that are not related to life. It's related to what being human can mean, and it's so great. Like
yeah,
I like strong sensations. So
even after watching the movie, at the beginning I had questions. All throughout the movie I had questions, and even more at the end I ended up with this huge question. Like, he really did go back to his roots with what he knew, no?
Yeah, because the end is something like a signature for the character, because you know
he becomes a fetus again. No?
Yeah, it was not.
It wasn't thought.
No, it wasn't thought. She just told me like go to sleep there, and so I spent
Okay,
like
as I say,
yeah, that's crazy. But the thing is like the end says that you can't have his freedom to make choices for himself. And the end of the film, you just choose one place to go and to sleep. Like it's yeah, even if this life can be really hard to live, he's not complaining about it. Like it's the place where he feels like he has to be, and it's okay. Like it's not.
It's not. It's. I read one of the reviews, and it's also like it's what life should be giving you, or what's the correct choice versus what you need.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, and I think with his own vibration, he found the best place by prostitution, because he doesn't want something. He doesn't want to possess something. Real reality of prostitution that is really in need of something. Most of the men that are prostitutes now in streets, they are doing it because they need money, because they need to buy food or things.
The label was made to be loved.
Yeah, made to be loved, exactly. So he found this place in society that is really, not known, but I think he's okay with that. Like, he's okay with that.
Felix, do you have anything else to say to
All
the
right,
public?
I would like to say muchas gracias. Me gustó mucho Colombia y Medellín.
Félix, merci beaucoup.
Merci a toi.
Nos vemos en una próxima oportunidad aquí en Vivir en el Poblado. Muchas gracias por estar con nosotros. No se les olvide suscribirse aquí en el canal de Vivir en el Poblado. Que estén muy bien.